So welcome to this episode of The Rumble. I have a very unique guest today. I say unique because, we heard of unhappy people in this world. There are also happy people who do things that they're not designed to do. This guy whom we're going to talk about is actually somebody who was a scientist, worked in even NASA, but he chucked that all up to do what? I'll leave that guessing. So welcome to the show, Paarthi.
Well, thank you.
Okay, I know that from the days of being a scientist at NASA, you are into a completely new field now.
Yep.
So you want to tell us what that is?
That's about the film industry, Kollywood, everyone's dream.
Okay.
And so no matter whether somebody is doing farming or doing shopping or somebody who's a driver, everybody's dream today is getting into the Kollywood. So in this manner, I was a scientist, but okay. I too carry the same dream, so jumped into it now.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I know that you are involved in some research side of science.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it was thoroughly unsatisfying, and I'm not surprised that you said that it was so unsatisfying that I decided to go out and make a movie for myself.
Well, actually, I wouldn't completely say that I was unsatisfied. Actually, at some certain point in time, I was very happy with NASA, with working on the atmospheric science, and especially the ozone depletion, global warming. Okay. After that, I spent also some time in Israel. So then I was a consultant for biotechnology. Okay. Then I felt that maybe it's time that I need to get into the field which was my closest to my heart, my passion, which I thought in the whole journey, I thought I lost it in the sense that, hey, something which is still unfulfilling. What is it that I'm doing, which is still, I'm feeling at the end of the day, something which is something which is missing. What is it? So I asked this question at the end of 2012. Then I felt, oh, my childhood dream was to get into nothing other than the movie industry. What am I doing? That's
your dream. My dream is to talk to people who are in science, and I know that you are a research scientist. And how do you view the situation in India, which supports research and innovation?
Oh, wonderful. That's a terrific question. Actually, when you say innovation, whether it's a biotechnology or the IT industry or any sector, my personal view, it's like four blind men describing an elephant situation.
It's your view.
So my view is certainly it is not in a very, very encouraging level, in the sense that let's say innovation means essentially the first thing which comes to the mind is the patents and so on and so forth.
Yes.
And that is the face of any country. Even you go to any small country in the world.
I guess you're valued for the number of patents that you hold, your country holds in different ways.
Yeah, so also number of patents as well as how many of the patents really converted into a business.
Okay.
And how many such business has really created
money out of it.
Yeah, how much money you created, how much job opportunities that you have created.
Yes.
See, the purpose of this innovation anywhere is to develop job opportunities for the local community.
Okay.
It's not necessarily every time you have to think something big like Mangalyaan
or
global a new drug for cancer. That's not just those are the innovation. Even a very small thing, you find some new instrument for climbing a tree, or you are able to come up with something.
Kerala could do with an instrument that will climb trees. Nobody climbs trees there, coconut trees.
Absolutely. So, but is he enjoying the fruit of that innovation? No. Is somebody is marketing or is somebody is paying a royalty to that person? No. So for everybody is moving from their village to the town for looking for an opportunity, finally end up in a services industry. We do not promote in that way any innovation, the local innovation, localized innovation.
Is that why India is getting more and more drawn into the service sector and we are losing out in...
Absolutely. So if I come up with a product, I need to have for any property like, the campus or a product, you have a police.
Yes.
But this brain, the intangible asset, do we have a police for this? No. Anybody can steal anybody's idea. So that's the situation that we have.
It happens in cinema making all the time. They're pinching stories, ideas, entire full sequences and shooting it.
But at least within India, so if you are stealing from someone within India, then at least there is some awareness.
You condone Indians stealing from each other.
So sort of here, but actually the innovation, when you are talking about the science and so on, there that's one of the reasons why the academic people, they are happy staying within the campus. They don't come out and come up with a big product to the market for the benefit of the society.
Why do they not do that? There's no system to encourage them?
So even actually the students, they don't even know how to go about it, because there are no success stories. You need to build success stories so that the next generation will start.
We are not even ready. Recently, I interviewed a young lady on the show, and she happened to mention that Indian students are a little immature. So what she meant was that they're not able to handle even day-to-day things on their own. Their fathers and mothers support them. So that independent spirit of inquiry is not yet inculcated in us.
Well, actually, this is a very taking me to a very different area. See, if you look at Europe, I mean, if for that matter, since she's comparing the Western countries with India, I mean, that is right from the childhood. In Europe, there are people, they send the students away from home, explore the world, and if you have if you are a guitar player, just go and play in the streets, subways, and earn money for your own stay. And there are students' youth hostels. Just pay, just pay $10, and you just stay there. And the next day, somewhere you play, and when you play, people also appreciate you and then donate something, and then you will survive by this. So you understand. So that entrepreneurial mindset is nurtured right at the young stage, whereas here we are protecting all the time. We are trying to protect out of even our kids, when they start playing basketball, our parents will say, don't play, better read. So we are always the saving culture. So we always try to see that our grandson.
Is that a cultural thing about Indians that we don't really encourage, or is it just this happened over the last 50 years? But as a culture, they keep saying India has got a great traditional. Anyway, listen, when we come back, we'll find out what is it that stops Indians from developing world-class products. We are good at services, nothing in way of products.
That's a pretty simple. We need to bring in a wonderful ecosystem for innovation, which is lacking.
Thank you. That's what I thought. We've been talking about protection of intellectual property in India for a long while.
Right.
I mean, in India, there's always talking about patents and this, that, and the other. And we've always been complaining that the Americans or the Brits or the Germans, they're coming and imposing their research on us and not allowing us to innovate or even make generics. What's your opinion on that? Are they right in objecting, or?
Well, every industry, every company who has invested, they will always, it's a competition. So everybody...
There's a commercial world.
Commercial world is very difficult, very different in the sense that no matter what it is, whether it's right or wrong, they will try to squeeze money as much as possible from everybody. So that's a very different world.
So there's no rights and wrongs in this. We're saying that's the normal way.
So from one perspective, when you look at it, it may look, it's justifiable. Yeah, the other angle, when you look at it, there is a lot of politics which is involved in it. Yeah. So that is absolutely wrong, and it is right for us to protect the interest of in the interest of society. We should fight back with those industries and so on. So it is always there is a
generics, the development of a drug from a basic research. Is that, in your point of view, right, or should we also always take permission from the guy who did the fundamental research?
So it's a very interesting question in the sense that even though the drug was developed by the companies, they also take a lot of concessions, grants from the government, which is nothing but the people money. So with the use of people money in the form of a grants, even though they invested 15 years of research and then $1 billion invested, there's some amount of public money which is already involved.
You mean even for foreign Western companies?
Yes, exactly.
They're also getting funding.
So from their country point of view. Okay. So there is always, there is a,
public ownership is there.
Public ownership is it's already there. But still, they ventured into the area of discovering a drug for cancer. Unless we support them in terms of encouraging them to reap their own benefits. If you don't allow them to take their own benefits,
they won't do it.
The next set of people, they will not venture into such adventures of discovering new drugs for cancer or neuro, hypertension or anything. They need to be motivated and encouraged.
And what is this Indians going around beating their drum saying that we can do everything at half the price, quarter of the price, one-third the price, sending Mangalyaan at $50-70 million when the rest take 700 million. Is there some mismatch in the numbers? Surely it can't be that.
Absolutely. See, let's say it's the same thing. I felt it like, I mean, again, it's my own personal view is there's a lot of indigenous, lot of technology which was involved in Mangalyaan, no doubt about it. I have a due respect for them. But still, when you are trying to compare a price between Mangalyaan and the NASA stuff, it is unfair to compare the stuff. It's like a branded drug versus the generics drug. Branded drug takes about 15 years of research, $1 billion investment, and 10 years of academics research backing. With all that, they discover a drug. Generics, if you start just 2 years, you can kickstart and then for the sale.
So as we got sidetracked a little bit, this whole business about making generics versus the original basic drug.
Yeah,
what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, we shouldn't compare the amount of investment which is going into branded versus generics. Likewise, that you were asking something else. So when somebody has brought the whole innovation to a certain extent, it will always be costlier.
Okay.
So the generics always will be tenfold cheaper.
Fundamental research is far more painstaking and more...
Absolutely. See, not only that, it's not just the painstaking. The success rate is less than 3%.
Okay.
I mean, most of the 97% of, when somebody says $1 billion, 97% of the money goes for the failures.
Okay.
So most of those projects meet the dead ends. They don't know what to do next. So they completely start from the scratch and then they start in a different direction.
Okay.
So whereas the generics, they just take only that success part of it.
So it's like running a 100-meter race where some are running only 95 meters. Some are running the whole line, some are running only 5 meters. The last little bit.
Exactly. So I invest 100 rupees, out of which 97 rupees for failure, 3 rupees for the success. This, my 15 years it took for me. So these people, they just invest on those 3% of that stuff.
That's only unfair.
That's the difference. That's the reason the tenfold increase when it is becoming branded.
What's the situation in India? Are we also doing any fundamental research in areas which are not touched yet, or are we still just trying to ride on somebody else's success or shoot from somebody else's shoulder, as they say?
That's a very interesting question. Actually, basically, unfortunately, for what I do see here is we are developing graduates, scientists who just go and work in abroad countries. And then they come back.
So they're like, somebody called them cyber coolies. That's a very nasty term, but they say that you're just doing mechanical work which you've been trained for, but you're not using your skills to go and become the...
So at the same time, I don't want to undermine our scientists who are here. So there are very few people. I don't want to generalize this statement. There are very few genuine people. They are working. They are trying to bring a lot of changes within their own, but that is not sufficient. So with the due credits and respects for them, the rest which I am talking about, the rest which could have been better, which is not there. So that's the reason because that smaller portion which is making the change, which is not impacting. The impact is not felt as a whole.
3% some success rate, 97
likewise. There's failure nothing. In the sense, so that impact is not sufficient.
Is that an institutional failing? Or is that a failing of our people, our character?
For example, since you asked the question in the biotechnology, I'll take that same example. Like 15 years ago, we had the higher education policy within the biotechnology. And then overnight, everybody felt that, hey, this is IT, India today, BT, Bharat today. We all made that. And biotechnology, we wanted to populate with the whole India, like every year 3 lakh students should come out. That was the focus, because when they had that higher education policy in US, within that one particular year 600 companies were opened up. So India
dealing in biotech,
within biotechnology. So overnight the India felt that, hey, biotechnology is a boom, future. Let's bring the education, higher education stuff. But what we did not realize is in US within a year 300 companies were closed down, and then within the next couple of years most of the companies were closed down. Today not even 10 companies which were making the profits. So those 600 out of that 600 companies, which we have not realized. Every year here we are keep producing biotechnology students, but most of them are now ended up in call center or life insurance and marketing.
That's a terrible waste of talent.
And interestingly, most of the engineering colleges here, they also brought in BTech in biotechnology, and by the time second year or third year, they realized that probably they may not get the jobs. So all these
high-flying directors of research institutes and this, that and the other, are they living in some, I don't know what's a little bubble of their own and not really looking around at what's happening around the world?
That's very difficult to say. I mean, I don't know why.
I know you can't say yes or no, but generally you think, yeah, we are a little out of step with reality.
We are out of reality.
All right, I love that he admitted straight away. So when you come back, we find out if he's got a wish list, how would he sort this educational mess out, especially in biotech, which is still a big field. You know, we were talking about the situation in India. People seem to be a little out of sync with the realities around the world. Keep chasing subjects which are going out of fashion in the rest of the world. So BT may be one of those things. But if you had the authority,
okay,
say you have a wish list, I give you a chal. Give me your suggestion. What do you think we need to do in our country first? Like our Prime Minister is out there beating the Indian drum as loud as he can. What can the scientific community do to really ensure that we do come out with some products?
That's a wonderful question. Actually, just on the spot, if you want me to think on those lines, one thing which pops up in my mind is we always think that innovation means it's something very big, very big. No, it's not necessarily. It has to be too big. A lot of small things which makes the wonderful innovation. Today, if you look at the whole India, the young crowds which is looking for an opportunity, so in the name of looking for an opportunity, they all move to the big cities, making it as a big mega cities, and keeping their parents as an orphans in their own villages.
Yes.
So the one way is like, today one of the good example is the post office. Post office, they have changed over the period of time. Now there is no telegram. Now
there's no letters being delivered.
No letters being delivered. And now even today the passports you can go and collect it from post office. So those are all as per the changing scenario, they are all changing. Likewise, today there are a lot of municipality and panchayat union in every villages.
Yes.
Those are the places where it should be an innovation hub.
The change has to start there.
Change has to start from there. So the task of them is not just state government clerical stuff.
Not, digging ditches all the time. We go beyond that.
Yeah. So you create each and every one of those packets should be the innovation hub.
Yeah, people keep using create the ecosystem. They love using all those words, but what you mean is create a mood where they can do some research
absolutely
work.
So the youngsters, the young talents around that local community, that should be nurtured, and their talent should be tapped, and this panchayat union or municipality or any villages, they should provide that the facilitate the whole thing to solve their local problem. So that way, your cost of living.
So you don't necessarily always have to make some $1 million.
You don't need to
cyber knife or something.
Absolutely. So because at the end of the day, are you living happily? That is more important than are you earning more money. Today, the grandma principle has become if you are a genius, are you making more money? So this is the question grandma is asking. So with that pressure, straightforward question. If you are a genius, why are you not making more money?
Right.
So this is the pressure I'm having, the social pressure. So because she doesn't understand the value what I'm doing, irrespective of whatever you do in the megacity, are you bringing more money? See, that is the issue today. So everybody is living under too much of pressure. So even if you look at the future F stands for fast, universal, likewise you can keep defining tribal and, so all these things, the whole world is changing. But the thing is...
Are there any projects which you can think just offhand, which came from India and which revolutionized life around the world? Is there anything? I don't know. I'm not necessarily scientific. In any area, I don't know, any product maybe. I can't think. Like you were talking about somebody who discovered how to make the Band-Aid. It's such a brilliant thing.
The homemaker. Yeah. So the homemaker who made the first Band-Aid and then it became a revolutionary product and so on.
Nobody even thinks about it. But
let me tell you one thing. My grandmother, she knows how to make 75 different varieties of pickles. Today, where is that knowledge? It has gone. So likewise, we have lost our knowledge. And let me put it, 3,000 years ago, we had 1,250,000 varieties of paddy. Today, where is that knowledge has gone?
Okay, he's throwing more and more interesting things. I don't think I can end this in 3. I'm going to go to the 4th section. Just hang in with that. Yeah, you were talking about also that we are, without knowing it really, that it's happening, we're slowly losing our traditional knowledge of various things, including things that your grandmother did or your mother did in the kitchen. So are there a lot of things that we're in danger of losing because of this blind following of modern day scientific methods?
So for example, in Tamil they call it neerkatti.
Okay.
The neerkatti, in my opinion, they were our scientists. Mm-hmm. They know when to pass how much water, when, how, everything.
Okay.
The whole community is today in endangered species. And no government is taking care of those people. They know, they are the only set of people in any village. If you go to the southern part of India, they are basically protecting the seeds. And no landlord knows when to put what seed. So there is a community called, they call it Neerkatti.
Okay.
They collect, their passion is.
So have we analyzed their skill, or is it just something?
No, it comes through the generation after generation.
I know, but nobody's ever recorded that and keep it for
actually,
posterity.
as a research scientist from Japan, they came and they did a research article about them.
Okay.
They were our ancient scientists. Still, the last generation is living now. If you miss them, they are gone. That's it. See, they in every village in our Indian tradition is one community. Always store this science.
Yeah, this knowledge is with them.
The knowledge is only with them, and that is their family prestige status. And then they know, and everybody can be a landlord, but none of the landlord knows which seed. Yeah, they don't have that knowledge that these people have it.
So isn't that unfair to the rest of the farmers that only one bunch of guys know which seed to plant what? Why don't you make it more universal?
I mean, these people, they jump into water and then open the pipe and all that. So let them also do it. But see, we have the tradition of, some of the tasks to be done. It's our system, our system was caste based and all, so many other things which are evolved. Okay. I think you are opening up a different angle. So let us restrict to this.
Kind of worms.
There are so many things which are interlinked. Okay. So, for example, like a couple of 1,000 years ago, till then, our southern part of India, which comprises now the Andhra, Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala, Sri Lanka, everything
people
all
living
together.
on the pointy part of India.
So the whole thing was basically 21 villages.
Okay.
Each village having the scientist, I would say. Today's modern scientist, we call it as a modern scientist. Those days, every year there was an annual function. People assemble in a place. What did you invent? What did you invent? Share the knowledge. And they come, I have invented a new different variety of paddy. Okay. And I have a different rice. So one will have a mango smell. One will have a jasmine smell. Okay. One is suitable for, one will bring a lot of strength. One is for
maybe today. One doesn't need water. One need more.
You will be surprised. Today we are talking about Viagra. Those days, our guys have discovered a new variety of rice that gives the Viagra power. For the newly married couple, they give that as the afternoon lunch.
Good lunch and then
good lunch and Viagra power. Yeah. We had those things in our own rice.
Damn. Who invented Viagra finally?
Finally, the Pfizer. They bought some company in the US. See, you asked, so did we have that science? Yes, we had. We had everything much better.
So is it that our system in India doesn't encourage these hoarding of knowledge or even research into it? Is that a dying thing? The Western ways have taken over. So
I don't know. We lost the track. Probably, I think I remember somebody was saying, like, if your daughter or your son is getting married, till the marriage day afternoon, you'll be extremely tired, working, and then you'll be tired. Soon after that marriage afternoon, you want to take a couple of hours rest. You take a rest. So likewise, till 1947, I think we were running for freedom fight. I think once we got the freedom fight, I think we started taking the little easy rest. I think now it's time we need to wake up.
That, guys, is an ingenious way of justifying how we've become a lazy bunch of people. But it's been fascinating talking to you.
Oh, wonderful.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
And we should carry this conversation forward.
Absolutely, wonderful. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks for inviting me.